trying to remember that we live in a world where we still have the first 3/4 Silent Hill games. I just have to make one point clear now. This time I didn't actually pay to go see the movie. This time I used a prepaid gift card. So technically my sister's money went to fund the movie. At least it's not my money. I don't know what I just watched. I literally just came back from seeing this movie at the time that I'm recording this. Oh, where to begin with how awful it is. It didn't get the same reaction out of me that Resident Evil Retribution did, because at least with Retribution, I felt something. I was angry. With this, I just feel empty. Like, the movie was so unimpressive, I'm just left with this completely empty feeling. And it's really weird. And not good. And the movie itself wasn't good. It was really boring. This was just boring. Oh my gosh. This time I made myself a little list to actually talk about what was wrong. They're not very descriptive, what I wrote down, but I think I'll go over the first and most obvious one. There's too much going on visually. Way too much. They had people screaming and, like, their faces that were screaming. In the games, you only... Here in my mouth. Bleh. You only ever meet so many characters. You only see so many human faces. That's to create the feeling of isolation, yada yada, scary atmosphere. I think you guys get the point. In this, people everywhere. More so than in the first one. So many people. There's one part where Heather, who doesn't even go by Heather in the movie, she's still Sharon. It's just, oh yeah, by the way, in this scenario in which we moved, yeah, my name would be Heather, but I'm still going by Sharon. She's running away from people, and she's at Happy Burger, and she sees all these people eating burgers made of other people. Children eating burgers made of other people. Clowns eating other people. The guy next to her eating a burger made out of people. She runs into the Happy Burger, into the kitchen. They literally have a man hanging up, and they're cutting the skin off of him. And then throw it in, making people burgers. Because that's what they spend their time doing, you know, wherever they are, making people burgers. Because that's scary. If I wanted to see people eating manwiches, I would just watch Silence of the Lambs. I don't even remember the beginning. I'm just gonna I don't remember how it started. Heather was running into the amusement park. They did use the soundtrack from 3 plus Promise Reprise. I guess to tie it into the first movie, but yeah. Yeah, she got on the carousel. The memory of Alessa started talking to her. It was exciting. She woke up, and then she went to school. She got a vest from her dad for her birthday, went to school. Met Vincent Cooper. Basically, I was just trying to tell you how incredibly boring the whole thing of that was. It was just so boring. Vincent was pointless. It was... They started out in the very beginning, they made him a high school student. He's also a new student. But that whole entire thing lasts for only one scene, so by the end of the movie, it was... You being at the high school with her had no relevance. He could have been the proper age, and she could have just met this guy on the street, and you could have done the same thing, instead of making him a high school student. There's just no point. No point whatsoever. Okay, so I guess now since I'm segueing into Vincent, I can go ahead and address all the problems with the characters. Oh my gosh. First off, Vincent, they made him into the love interest for Heather. Whoever wrote the script, just way too many fanfics. Yeah, so Vincent turns into the good chivalrist, and he's like, I'm going to save you, Heather, but first, before I go and risk my life for you, we got to smooch. And I'm just like sitting there like, no. This isn't Vincent. He doesn't even look like Vincent. The only same characteristic he has to Vincent from Silent Hill 3 is the first name. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else. Vincent in the game, you know. Go look at my top however many evil characters of all time. Vincent's number 5. Accurately described. Slimy, selfish, he doesn't care about Heather. He's gonna do whatever it takes to accomplish what he wants. And if he has to get rid of Heather in the process, he's gonna get rid of Heather. If he has to get rid of Claudia in the process, he's gonna get rid of Claudia. He's gonna do what he needs to do without actually putting himself out there. That's Vincent. This Vincent is, Heather, I want to help you. I love you. Let's go off and make little cult Valtiel worshipping babies and I don't know. It was okay. Segueing into the next character, Leonard. They made Leonard into Vincent's grandfather. Why? There's no relevance to that. None whatsoever. You didn't need to do that. It was stupid. And I like Malcolm McDowell, I really do, but his performance as Leonard was just hammy. So hammy. Like, I literally could have gone into the movie and picked him apart, put him into my own little manwich from the beginning of the film, and sat there eating, going, I'm mocking you, film. I'm mocking you. I could have done that. He was that hammy. Yeah. And, he did turn into the Leonard boss after he took the seal of Metatron and inserted it into his body, because the seal of Metatron is now like a portal opener and can summon God. What? I don't know. I don't know. And then he turns into the boss. And Heather shoots him. Then knocks her out. Throws her over her shoulder. Walks out. They play the Leonard Boss music, you know, the that thing. And then she pulls it out of him, and then he turns into dust and dies. I don't even know what the point of that was. I really honestly don't. And so then this leads us to the next character. Claudia. Now, from what I've just told you, you can now deduce that if Leonard is now Vincent's grandfather and Leonard is Claudia's father, guess what that makes Claudia to Vincent? His stepsister. I'm joking. Claudia is Vincent's mom. That time I'm not joking. Claudia is Vincent's mom. Why? It served no use to the story. It really didn't. I mean, quite honestly, you could have just done what the game did. These characters have no family relations between them. You'd still get the same outcome. Still be the same story. Them being family changes nothing. Well, it does change stuff, but in the context of the story, it changes nothing. It's pointless. Pointless change. Then the one that bugs me the most. The character change that, other than Vincent, because everyone knows, anyone who follows my channel and watched my Let's Play Silent Hill 3 knows I'm a huge Vincent fan. I love Vincent to death. This character is my equivalent of the Betty Button from Retribution. Only in this regard, to Silent Hill, this one is much worse. They kill Douglas in the first 10 minutes of the film. I'm like not even joking. Douglas dies like 10 minutes into the film. Did you think you'd get the happy ending of Douglas going, are you going to change your hair color back? And Heather going, no, blondes have more fun. Did you think you're going to get that ending? No. No. He dies. And then he's never brought up again. You know, at least in Retribution, Barry was there for at least the whole film. Or they didn't kill him until like 3/4 of the way through. But in this one, no. They Douglas, dead. 10 minutes in. I was heartbroken. I kind of figured that this would happen, seeing as previous to going in to see the film, that they had made Vincent into Heather's love interest. I kind of figured that in that case, Douglas would get the axe. But I didn't think it'd be that early. No, I don't agree with that. Going off my card here. Problem with the pacing, not the necessarily pacing. Every scene in this movie explains something. Every scene. She wakes up from the dream. Daddy, they're calling me. It's just a dream. They wake up, having breakfast. Daddy, why did you pick the name Heather? Because I stole it from the game. Just joking, it was my grandmother's name. Why did you have to pick Harry? I don't know. Why is all this stuff happening? Because of this. Oh, I think I'm being followed. Go to the mall. Why are you following me? Who are you? I'm Douglas Cartland, and the Order is following you, and the Order of Valtiel, because now things are more complicated, and they're trying to find you. And just everything is explained. And none of it even makes any sense. It's just like it's spoon-fed. Literally spoon-fed. It's like, the movie is the spoon, the content of the movie is in the spoon, here's the audience, and it's going, here! You know? You're too dumb to figure any of this stuff out. Let's see. Alessa and Pyramid Head. They pretty much still go off the same assumption that Alessa is an evil little girl. Except for in this version, Sharon/Heather is the innocent aspect of Alessa, but put into an orphan baby. So I guess Alessa, she was laying in a hospital bed, was like, I'm going to go orphan shopping. And she shopped for an orphan and found Sharon/Heather and was like, here, baby, have my innocence. Yeah. And then, like, at the carousel, they didn't fight. They, like, hugged and they, like, became one. And then other stuff happened. And I was just so confused. Because then they're like, oh, yeah, you're supposed to birth God. But then, like, we couldn't do it because, like, Alessa was a demon. And yeah, we need your body and the seal of Metatron, and I'm gonna summon God through the seal of Metatron, but then you're gonna give birth to God now. It's just, none of it made sense. Moving on. I can't think of anything else to say about that. Oh, wait, yeah. I was gonna say. They were explaining, they're like going through Christopher De Silva. They were going through his journal, and they see all the pictures of the monsters. You see a little sketch of Pyramid Head, a little sketch of the Claw Finger, which don't appear in this film and didn't appear in the previous film, so why it's in there is beyond me. Yeah, and so Heather starts explaining once again, because the audience is too stupid, that Alessa is the controller of the nightmare and all of these demons follow her bidding, and so Pyramid Head is basically the guardian of Alessa. Right. Let's see. Let's go back to where you got him from, the source of that, which was Silent Hill 2. And Pyramid Head is kind of the personification of James's guilt. Yeah. I don't know how you get the Guardian of Alessa from that. No. I don't see it. It doesn't make the, I guess in terms like the context of the movie, I guess yeah, sure, it makes sense, but then you take the fear factor away because, you know, you're rooting for Heather/Sharon/Alessa, or you're supposed to be anyway. And so once you put Pyramid Head under her control, it's kind of like in Resident Evil Damnation. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet, but spoilers. The people have now this new version of the Lost Plugs. I have no idea. This new version of the virus which controls the BOWs. That takes the fear out of any of the enemies in the movie, because then you see the Lickers fighting the Tyrants, and you're like, oh, Lickers, they're so cute, I don't want you to die. And then you go, wait, when I was playing RE2, I was terrified of Lickers, and now I find them adorable. What is this blasphemy? That's kind of what I was feeling with this one, with Silent Hill Revelation. Doing that with Pyramid Head, it's kind of like, oh, look at your cute little Pyramid Head. I just want to go up and give him a hug. I mean, crazy Silent Hill fans do that anyway, but, you know, you're also still supposed to have that fear of him, and as soon as you make him under Heather's control, that's just kind of like, I don't see it anymore now. He's just a big dude with a weird hat and a rubbery knife. That knife was so shaking like a rubber knife and not even funny. Yep. And that's where my webcam started going funky. So I'm going to just go ahead and do this, the rest of it on audio recording, and hopefully I won't babble on too long. Basically, I was just describing about how incredibly stupid and convoluted and just silly the plot was, because, you know, they go through trying to explain every little bit of information, but then all the things that they should be explaining, they never explain. And just trying to sit through and make any sort of logical connection between any of it was just a ridiculous feat in of itself. As far as the acting goes, not terribly impressive. I didn't find Vincent believable. Sean Bean was Sean Bean. Carrie-Anne Moss, despite there being an atrocious script, did as good a job as she could have done. And I was honestly disappointed because I'm a huge fan of Carrie-Anne Moss. And I just felt like they didn't utilize any of their actors, and it was really depressing to watch. Heather, the girl who played Heather, or Sharon, I should say, because she never goes by Heather in the film, she was okay. I mean, I wasn't particularly blown away by her, and really, honestly, the only acting she seemed to have done was breathing hard. Seriously, it's like they wrote in the script, Sharon, pants hard, and all you hear in the movie is this. Seriously, that's all you hear. Every single scene is someone breathing hard, and it's like, okay, act scared. Okay, so my version of acting scared is just to breathe really hard. All these horrible things are happening. It's not effective, and seems to really deter away from Heather in the original game. You never saw Heather running around going, I'm really scared. Because she spent most of the game seeking out vengeance. She didn't really have time to be incredibly scared. Like, she was scared, but she spent more of her energy being focused on getting revenge. And that we didn't see in the film, which was really disappointing. Another thing I really quickly want to bring up was the jump scares. Horrendous jump scares. It was jump scare after jump scare after jump scare. And I don't know why, I did it for the Woman in Black. I counted how many jump scares there were, which was 17 in the span of time that the movie actually was. That's about a jump scare every 5 minutes. I honestly believe that Silent Hill Revelation topped that. Went over and beyond 17 jump scares in the 94-minute time period that it was allotted. Because there were so many flippin' jump scares. It was just depressing. It was like they didn't even have the intelligence to create something that was legitimately terrifying. It's just like, oh, there's a Pop-Tart, be scared. And, you know, that was just dumb. It was not creative. It was just low intelligence. Another problem, quickly before I go on to explaining the ending, pointless characters. There are so many every single character other than Sharon is pointless. You have the pointless Dahlia cameo. She shows up for one scene, says, you better go inside, and then you never see her again. You have another pointless Douglas. He's there for 10 minutes, then dead. He served no point other than to tell the audience what we already knew. Vincent, for all intents and purposes, is pretty much useless. He doesn't do anything. Christopher De Silva is useless. You have a pointless cameo by Rose De Silva, a character I greatly dislike. She does nothing but says, just protect Sharon, protect her, and only one of us could get out and protect her, Christopher, blah, 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 and pointless. And who else is pointless? Oh, Leonard was pointless. He served no purpose but to say, oh, here's the other half of the seal, and now I'm gonna be a big scary monster, so, you know, oh, you grabbed it right over, oh, 2 seconds later I'm dead, oh, well, I was pointless. And the biggest one, other than Douglas, in terms of pointless characters that really bugged me, was the character, I guess, whose name is Suki. We never really find out, and that one bugs me the most because during pre-production, they were filming her scene, Heather Marks, the model who plays Suki. They were filming her scenes and they showed a picture of her on set and they were like, who is she playing? Oh, big mystery, and all this, like, hardcore attention was thrown at this one little thing, and you know, she finally showed up in the movie and I was like, oh, okay, so now we're finally gonna find out what she's doing here. And then, of course, you know, she doesn't even leave the room alive. She dies 2 minutes later. Another pointless character. They didn't even say her name was Suki, so at first I was confused of maybe that isn't her, maybe there's another character. No, that's her. Dead 2 minutes into her cameo. She served no purpose other than to get killed. It was just lack of imagination, lack of creativity. The whole production of this. Whereas I hate the first movie. I can't stand the first movie. I would rather watch the first movie over again than watch this garbage movie sequel. It was just, Revelation was that bad. Because at least with the first one, at least it looked good, and at least it captured the environment of Silent Hill. As much as in the first one I hate the actors, I hate the story, I hate with what they did to Silent Hill, at least they captured the feel of the game. Silent Hill Revelation did not do that. It's like it took the game and then just raped it right in its face. And I can't abide by that. It was just that awful. Alright, so now I'm going to go on to explaining the ending. If you don't want any spoilers, which I think at this point is kind of silly because I probably spoiled so much by now. Yeah, so I'm going to spoil the ending in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so basically, Sharon goes to the carousel, sees the memory of Alessa, they hug, absorb each other. I guess it's never really explained or brought up again. Apparently she loses her powers, but you know, it's just not explained. And Pyramid Head is... Apparently, he's now gone on unemployed because the economy in Silent Hill is just as bad. And he's reduced to a job of manning the carousel. Not even joking. He's manning the carousel. Why? Because he can. And so he starts, and they get a good long shot of him manning his little wheel thing, turning it and bringing the carousel down right under the floor of the amusement park where, conveniently, the sanctuary is. Whereas in the game, I believe that whereas the church was underground from what it appears to be, I don't believe it was right underneath the amusement park. I could possibly be wrong about that, but, you know, I don't think it was right underneath the amusement park. And so, Sharon goes up to Claudia, who she's now finally met for the first time, as opposed to in the game where she's spending her entire time trying to get to Claudia. Go figure. And Claudia's like, oh, this whole place was safe and now you're here. And now everything is corrupted. And, yeah, and Christopher is hung up to the statue of Valtiel. Valtiel's importance is never explained other than the Order worships them. The Order of Valtiel. You have no idea how silly that sounds. And, of course, Vincent's sitting there like, hey, Heather, how you doing, sexy? And Sharon's like, screw you, I'm not Heather, I'm not Sharon, I'm just this abomination in this movie. And I have no idea what happened then. Something about, oh, we need to use the seal of Metatron, and I'm going to summon God, and then we're going to use your body as a vessel, and you're going to birth God, but then there's Alessa, and we had to destroy Alessa, but I still have to use your body for a vessel, and I'm going to use the seal of Metatron because it's now a portal, and all this other crazy stuff. Complete stupidity. And so Sharon's like, okay, you want the seal of Metatron? Here's the seal of Metatron. I want to see your true nature. And I'm just sitting there like, what are you talking about? And so Claudia's like, okay, I'll touch the shiny glowing object because that's a brilliant idea. And she touches it, and she turns into a giant female missionary monster. Complete with boobage. It was depressing to look at. And so then we also now find that Sharon can control Pyramid Head, so she brings out Pyramid Head, and PH fights Claudia as a missionary monster, and she stabs him, and the other three are just sitting there watching, going like, oh my gosh, this is really weird and kind of stupid. Let's get out of here. But they don't, because, you know, they're stupid. Then Pyramid Head, you know, kills Claudia, chops her head off.
relatively unimpressive. It wasn't that interesting. And so, yeah, Claudia's dead. The Order of Valtiel is destroyed. And they leave. Yep. And then they go up to the surface. The ash has stopped falling, because I guess Alessa was also controlling the ash. And they're like, oh, you made this happen, Not Heather. And Not Heather was like, no, it wasn't me, you stupid idiots. It was the horrible contrivances of the script. Then she's like, hey, Dad, yay, now we can go live a happy life. And he's like, no, I'm gonna stay here because Rose is here. And I'm not gonna try to bother getting her out now because, you know, it's not like we've destroyed the power or anything. It's not like I can just find her and take her home with us. No, I'll just stay here. So he stays, disappears with the fog. Not Heather goes off with Not Vincent, and they make little Colt babies. Yep. But anyway, the ending is not yet over. Shocked, you say? It goes on, and to much more depressing states. You see Not Heather, and Not Vincent walking down the highway, and a semi-truck pulls up along the road. They open the door, they get in the truck. Lo and behold, who is the driver? Yes, you've guessed it. Travis Grady. Travis Grady, that protagonist, if you can call him that, from Silent Hill Origins, makes a cameo appearance. Yep. Travis Grady, everyone. One of my least favorite characters in the entire series. At least it wasn't Alex Shepard, but, you know, it was still a character I really don't like. That's also just a personal opinion. If you like Travis Grady, sure, go for it, like it and spaz all you want, but I personally found it just to be a slap in the face. Over, you say? Not quite yet. There's still a little bit more. They drive off. And then as they drive off out of Silent Hill comes a police crusade. And first instinct, you see the police car and you think, oh, they finally come to get Not Heather. Because earlier on in the film, the police suspect that Not Heather killed Douglas Cartland. And so they see the blood on the wall that says, come to Silent Hill. So you think, okay, they figured it out and they're going to Silent Hill to go find Not Heather. And, nope. Because the next car you see after that first police car is a big, dark-colored bus, followed by another police car. Guess what that means, everybody? Downpour. Oh boy, downpour. Oh, movie. Oh, movie. Oh, I really hope you don't make another one with Downpour. Although granted, I think I would rather them do a movie version of Downpour because then at least it would keep them from making a movie version, say, of 2, which is actually one of the better games of the series. And so if they go on to make movies of Origins and of Homecoming and Shattered Memories and Downpour, I actually think I would be fine with that now that I think about it, because then they won't make 2, and that means that they won't rape 2 in the face, because by the time that they would get to 2, they've already overused Pyramid to such an extent that we wouldn't care anymore, and he wouldn't have that great of an impact. So if we can band together and distract the people making this movie to make sequels with all these other horrible games first, we might be able to spare Silent Hill 2, and maybe even Silent Hill 4, where we could not spare. We lost. But we'll always remember in our hearts Silent Hill 1 and 3. We will always remember them. Rest in peace.